Hey guys, it's David from theunlocker.com, and today we're going to do a review of the HTC Trophy. Since this is a Windows Phone device, and the operating system is a similar experience regardless, we'll be focusing on this device's features in specific. For a complete look at Windows Phone 7 in general, please check out our Windows Phone 7 review just below this video on our site. Also, since this is an HTC Windows Phone, please take a look at the HTC Hub review just below that to see what unique apps you get for Windows Phone when you buy an HTC device. So Verizon users, you've been waiting, hoping, praying, even holding your breath maybe, and in that case you've passed out by now so this isn't for you, but for the rest of you who've managed to hold out this long, your day has finally come. Windows Phone 7 has finally arrived on Big Red in the form of the HTC Trophy. Now, if you've been waiting for Windows Phone to come along on Verizon and you may be wondering, is this the one I should go for? Well, that's what we intend to find out today. So let's break it down and go through the motions. First up, hardware. Okay, so the first thing you'll notice is that it's fairly light. This is thanks largely in part to its plastic shell, its thin frame, and its 3.8-inch capacitive screen, which is slightly smaller than some other Windows Phone devices with their 4 and 4.3-inch screens. Now when I say it has a plastic frame, I don't mean one of those glossy, cheap-looking ones that when you push on them with your finger, they dent like a car door hit with a baseball bat. I'm talking about a smooth, dark, and firm, matte finish plastic that I think works pretty well. The display of the device is a decent size, 3.8 inches. I personally like larger screen phones, but the trade-off is that the somewhat smaller screen of the HTC Trophy means that the device itself is smaller as well and won't eclipse the majority of your face when you try to talk on it. To give you an idea of the size and scale, here's the Trophy next to the HTC HD7, which has a 4.3-inch screen. One thing it does share in common with the HD7, and most Windows phones for that matter, are its technical specs. A 1 GHz processor, 500 or so megabytes of RAM, a 5.0 megapixel camera with flash on the back with a dedicated camera button, which I think all phones should have, and your standard Windows Phone capacitive buttons down here at the bottom, which include back, home, and search. Now, if you have ears, you might be keen to learn about how this device sounds. Okay, so first, let's play some music. Now, here's the song playing at full volume. Well, that's not entirely true, actually. Since this is an HTC device, there is a sound enhancement app. Using this app, we can turn on SRS enhancement, whatever that is, and magically, you'll also notice that the speaker is on the back of the device, which means that when you flip it over, it gets even louder since it's not being muffled by the surface it's sitting on. So next we'll test the camera. The proper way to test a camera is, of course, by taking a look at the pictures it produces. So we have those posted, taken in different situations, beneath this video on our site. Some other features to note about the camera are the speed at which you can open it. And there you go, pretty quick. Part of that speed is in part due to the dedicated camera button, which can be pressed a lot faster than an app icon on your screen. I can never say enough about how much I love dedicated camera buttons. I mean, we've all used a real camera at some point in our lives, and guess how that takes pictures? With a button at the top right of the camera. So it only makes sense that it is in the same place here. It's just faster and feels more natural. Another plus for the HTC Trophy's camera button is that it's two-staged. This means that you can press it slightly to focus and all the way to take the picture, which again makes it feel more like a normal camera. Something else I'm sure a lot of users are curious about is the data speeds. Here we have an app called Bandwidth. It is meant to test the download and upload speeds of a Windows Phone 7 device. Keep in mind though that this app has had complaints about less than accurate speed readings, so take the results with a slight grain of salt. Unfortunately for us, it's one of the only speed testing apps in the Windows marketplace right now. With that being said, and keeping that in mind, let's begin. Not bad at all. That's on par with most Verizon 3G devices that we've tested here at this location. Lastly, we're going to test battery life. Now, some sites may run some battery draining app or watch 18 movies in a row until the device conks out. We prefer a more quote-unquote real-world test. We simply use the phone as our personal phone for a few days, see how long it lasts without a charge each day, and then get an average. The results for the HTC Trophy are listed beneath this video, and I have to say that they were much better than expected. Okay, so the verdict. All in all, if you have Verizon and you want a Windows Phone 7 device, this is your only option. Besides that fact though, I have to say it's a pretty good option. It's similar in size to say the iPhone 4, not as bulky as some other Windows Phone 7 devices if that's not your cup of tea. And thanks to Windows Phone 7 and that 1 GHz processor, it runs as smooth as butter. Battery life is better than most, and with the Windows Phone Mango update around the corner, and this device supposedly being eligible for that upgrade, you'll get a ton of new features. Oh, and did we mention its $149.99 price tag with a contract makes it one of Verizon's least expensive smartphones. So if you're on Verizon and you want to give Windows Phone a try, I'd say now's a good time as any.